16 players made it through the first round yesterday, and they will each take on one of the 16 seeds who enter the competition today, including Michael van Gerwen, who's won all 4 of the European Tour events held so far in 2015. I'm Mike Lawrence. Rod Harrington will be joining us in the commentary box later on, but first of all, I'm delighted to say a very good afternoon to Dan Dawson.
Afternoon, Mike. Bit livelier in here today, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Bit livelier. 2,500 we're getting in for this afternoon, and again for this evening session. As you say, the seeded players entering the tournament. 8 games this afternoon, 8 games this evening, including Michael van Gerwen, the world #1. He's in action later on this evening, but we have got some serious players entering the fray. Steve Beaton, the bronzed Adonis. That wonderful tan thrown into relief by the brilliant white shirt that he's wearing today.
What a legend.
Oh, what a man. Take it on.
Mark to throw first. Game on.
Mark Barilli, the man in black, the invisible man, as he's known.
60.
Who appears to be wearing, I think that's his wristband for the day, that he's tied sort of tucked into his belt, or one of the loops on his trousers, like some sort of cheap paper holster for a gun.
A little fashion accessory for the 41-year-old from Greenock in Scotland, who won a 2-year tour card at Q-School in 2014.
Of course, the players who came through the opening round yesterday, they have the advantage of having played on this stage already. The seeded players coming in cold, if you will. But with Mark Barilli,
100.
He might have been caught a little bit on the hop this morning, bearing in mind that just an hour ago, he rather flusteredly hurried into the taxi from the hotel, completely unaware
85.
that he was first up this afternoon against the bronzed Adonis Steve Beaton. So he's been hammering the practice board since then, but it's not been ideal preparation.
85.
It was a fairly low-key first-round victory over Daniel Ziegler that Mark Barilli enjoyed. 6-4. He made it through. That was the important thing, but nothing to really set the world alight in terms of the averages or the standard of play, really. But as you say, he will now have that advantage, having played on the big stage here at this fantastic Saxon Arena already once. But it's Steve Beaton down to a finish. We hit treble 20. Wrong treble. Would have left in the bullseye.
Well, he is going to get darts for this opening leg against the throw of Barilli. Yeah, you said it wasn't particularly good against Daniel Ziegler in the first round yesterday. It was pretty shocking, but he did rattle off 4 consecutive legs to come from 4-2 down. Oh, well, he's missed a big number there as Beaton.
34.
So he only got the 1 dart of the double, and that gives a little sniff of an opportunity to Barilli. Needs the treble. Doesn't get it. Winner of this one will face either Michael Smith, the number 3 seed, or Johnny Clayton, the Welshman, playing in just his 2nd European Tour event, as Beaton pins double 8. 1-0 to the Adonis.
Game on.
And a break of throw early on for the former Lakeside world champion. He enjoyed success here in Germany on the European Tour 2 years ago, back in 2013.
Yeah, the German Darts Masters, one of the
43.
European Tour events. Saw off Mervyn King in the final there. That's his last win on the Pro Tour. Did make the final in Gibraltar last year before losing out to James Wade. He's not had a great time since then on the European Tour, to be fair. He's played 7 games and only won 3 of them.
81.
But he is still seeded. Seeded 14 here. Wow. That was the
95.
dart of God. That's reverberating through my very soul, that.
Well, that woke everyone up, I think.
140.
And no finish from 166 for Beaton.
I think he was put off by that earthquake of a dart that he hit. Needed to switch down to the 19s to leave 167, and he's missed the 18s again, hitting the 4, but he does have a healthy lead. Well, that's going to be eroded. Seriously eroded.
140.
So 1-2-2 for Steve Beaton. He's not had a good time on the 18 so far. He's hit the 4 a couple of times whilst going for it. Needs the treble. A little bit awkward, just moving across the hockey. Now he's hit the 1.
41.
So a chance to break back for Barilli.
97.
Treble 19 for tops. Needs to find a treble. Doesn't get it.
57. Steve, you require 81.
So a chance to double his lead, having, again, gone around the houses rather like he did in the first leg. Well, big 7 there.
41. Mark, you require 40. Game
Well, it's one
shot,
apiece.
second leg.
Steve Beaton.
Mark Barilli.
He was a bit scruffy in the
Third
opening leg, but he got
Mark
away
from
with it.
First. Game on.
Not so generous in the second leg, Mark Barilli.
No, the Adonis just taking a little bit time to find his range on the big stage here in Riesa.
100.
Former world champion Steve Beaton, of course, former world master. We've got
100.
the former UK Open champion Robert Thornton this afternoon. Justin Pipe, who made the final on the European Tour a couple of weeks ago in Venray. Dave Chisnell, multiple major finalist.
100.
Premier League star Kim Hybricks. And the Diamond, Ian White, rounding off this afternoon's session against Mickey Mansell.
46.
But the next game's an intriguing one. Mensur Suljovic, very dangerous customer, against Benito van der Pas, the young Dutchman. Big Ben, winner of that one, could
100.
face Michael van Gerwen in the last 16.
Certainly a contrast of styles between those two players, Mensur Suljovic and Benito van der Pas.
100.
Oh, good ton leaves Barilli on Shanghai. Beaton needs to apply some pressure, and has been just a little bit scruffy. 1 dart per visit.
94.
He's usually missing a big number, is
Mark, you require
Beaton.
120.
Yes, he wants tops.
100. Steve, you require 107.
Good start. 7 for double top for another immediate break of throw.
67.
Can't do it, so
Mark, you require 20.
Barilli with an early chance to nudge ahead. Double 5. Needs to come well inside that dart, and well,
15.
too far. Adjustment
Steve,
the
you
other way.
require 40. Game
And
shot,
Beaton
the
makes
third
him
leg.
pay. It's 3
Steve
consecutive
Beaton,
breaks
full
of
leg
throw,
Steve to
and
throw
Steve
first.
Beaton
Game
wrestles
on.
the advantage back.
While on the one hand, you can sort of say it's
94.
early days in these games, with it only being first to 6. That's the format right the way through this competition. First to 6 legs, right the way up
58.
to and including the final. You can soon find yourself chasing a game if you're not careful, if you have too many wayward darts and missed doubles at this format.
Yeah,
the
we said
games can quickly turn around.
Yeah,
People can rattle off 3 or 4 legs in a hurry, and things can really change quickly.
28.
yeah. I mean, Barilli came from 4-2 down to beat Daniel Zugler. I don't think you're going to get that kind of opportunity against a man of Beaton's calibre. If he finds himself 4-2 down here,
37.
he's going to have to produce some really, really good stuff to drag himself back into it. And he's absolutely nowhere near in this
60.
leg.
Steve, you require 130.
So all the time in the world, doesn't need to go the ball route.
58.
Again, it's not a brilliant setup shot from Steve Beaton, but as I said, he's a long way ahead, and Barilli is doing nothing here.
47. Steve, you require 72.
So is it 16s? No, he's gone straight at the treble 20 for double 6, and that's the problem. I mean,
66.
I thought he
I
might
wonder whether he
bust
might
it.
bust it. Yeah, me as well, with Barilli still back on 308. Beaton's got all the time in the world here.
83. Steve, you require 6.
Right, change of plan.
2 scored.
Went straight for the double 3 and then thought better of it. 2 for double 2. And he'll come back and have another go. And is Barilli going to be on a finish?
65.
Well, he is, albeit
Steve,
a big
you
one.
require 4. Game
And
shot,
there
the
we go.
fourth leg.
Steve Beaton gets the
Steve
job
Beaton,
done. We
fifth
finally
leg
have a little
mark
bit
to throw
of daylight
first.
between these
Game
two.
on.
A 19 dart leg, but got there in the end.
100.
These two have met 3 times before.
100.
on floor tournaments back in 2012, 2-1 in terms of the head-to-head in Beaton's favour, but
60.
And they all went 10 or 11 legs as well, so, you know, you would think that Barilli is quite capable of running in close, although, to be honest, he's not really upped his game much from the match we saw against Daniel Ziegler yesterday.
$76.
No, I think Mark knows, and we all knew that he would certainly have to up his game and up the standard of play to progress further in the competition after that victory over a fairly lacklustre Daniel Ziegler
55.
in the opening round yesterday.
Yeah, and effectively stolen the darts here is Beaton. That's a blocker, so he'll come downstairs. Good cover shooting on the 19s. Yeah, really good.
34.
Beaton sets that up nicely. It leaves that 72, which caused them a few problems in the previous leg.
$100. Stadium requires 72.
So is it the same route? It is.
60.
Well, better to leave double six than double three, but there's a chance now for Mark Barilli. Now it's gone.
So frustrating when
40.
straight out your first start,
12.
miss the big number that
Game
completely ends your chance of a big check out.
Six-leg
Steve Beaton now.
First. Game on.
You would feel well in the driver's seat. That was another break of throw, so here he goes at the start of leg 6.
46.
And the second round match is all completed today, and then we'll have the third round tomorrow, so it'll be either Michael Smith or Johnny Clayton taking on the winner of this tomorrow. Third round matches in the afternoon, and then the quarter-final, the semi, and the final all tomorrow night. 25 grand, £25,000 that is, to the winner on each of these European Tour events
60.
weekends. And at the moment, those winners' checks have all gone
81.
addressed to a certain Michael van Gerwen.
Yeah, £100,000 he's won this year just on the European Tour already. Bearing in mind that he comes in the second round stage, so what, he plays 5 games over the weekend. Call it half an hour game. Let's be generous. That's what, 2.5 hours, 10 grand an hour. 10 grand an hour of stage time Michael van Gerwen is earning on the European Tour at the minute. Not bad work if you can get it.
There are some Premier League footballers who would be happy to earn 10 grand an hour.
$100.
Beaton putting himself in a strong position in this leg, and there's
well,
a treble there would have applied a little bit of pressure. There's not a great deal. Oh, lovely dart.
Game shot.
Steve Beaton is strolling towards victory here. 5-1. And Barilli, well, against Daniel Ziegler, it took him 8 legs before he could actually hold his throw for the first time. He has failed to hold his throw in this one so far. If he doesn't do so here, his
70.
tournament comes to an end. This is his debut on the European Tour. Mark Barilli.
43.
But yes, the quality and the class of Steve Beaton that's held him in good stead for a good 25 years.
It shouldn't be underestimated. I mean, he's 51. Doesn't look it. Looks glorious. But he's still there. He's still
41.
up there. You know, made a final of one of these in Gibraltar last year. And look at, you know, you look at players that have come and gone as Beaton looks to fill this up. And does so. There you go. First 180 of the afternoon. Look at younger men that have played out their entire professional darts careers and fallen by the wayside. Steve Beaton is still there. Still winning games of darts on the big stage.
And still doing it with a smile on his face. He can wrap it up here and does so. An 11-darter for Steve Beaton, safely through, comfortably through against Mark Barilli. And he will take on either Michael Smith or Johnny Clayton in the third round tomorrow. The second round action continues, and it could be